What if I told you that some of the most groundbreaking ideas we debate today, from the ethics of artificial intelligence to the nature of reality itself, were deeply explored over 1,200 years ago? And what if I told you that one man, now nearly forgotten by the wider world, was at the heart of that exploration? Today, we're stepping into the mind of Al-Kindi, the philosopher of the Arabs, whose timeless wisdom still shapes our modern world in ways you might not expect. Born around the year 801 in Kufa, Iraq, Al-Kindi lived during the Islamic Golden Age, a time when scholars from across the world gathered in Baghdad to study, translate, and expand human knowledge. He wasn't just a philosopher. He was a mathematician, a physician, a musician, a cryptographer, a true Renaissance man before the Renaissance even existed. But beyond his scientific and mathematical achievements, Al-Kindi left us with words, profound sayings that carry wisdom still relevant today. Let's explore his most famous quotes and see how each one speaks directly to the 21st century. We ought not to be ashamed of appreciating the truth, no matter from whatever source it comes.
Al-Kindi believed that truth belonged to everyone. No culture, no religion, no era had a monopoly on it. He encouraged learning from the Greeks, the Indians, the Persians, even when it was controversial. Today, his message is crystal clear. Progress comes when we listen to each other and learn from diverse perspectives, whether in science, technology, or human rights.
The first truth is self-knowledge.
Long before psychology was a discipline, Al-Kindi knew that understanding ourselves was the foundation of wisdom. In a world filled with distractions, he reminds us, before we change the world, we must first understand our own mind, motives, and limitations. Modern leaders, AI engineers, even life coaches, all still chase the same goal.
Philosophy is the friend of wisdom, and wisdom is the guide of virtue.
For Al-Kindi, philosophy wasn't about winning arguments. It was about living better. True wisdom should guide our actions, and our actions should reflect our values. In an age of rapid technological change, that moral compass is more important than ever.
The world is a beautiful order, and its beauty lies in its harmony.
Al-Kindi saw a deep connection between beauty, mathematics, and music. He believed that harmony, in nature, in society, and within ourselves, was the ultimate sign of perfection. Modern science echoes him. From the patterns of galaxies to the code in our DNA, harmony underlies creation.
Time is the measure of motion and change.
This was a remarkably advanced insight. Centuries before Einstein, Al-Kindi saw time not as a fixed thing, but as something tied to movement and transformation. In technology, in personal growth, in history itself, change is inevitable, and time is how we track it.
The remedy for ignorance is asking questions.
For Al-Kindi, curiosity wasn't a weakness. It was the cure for every kind of ignorance. In science, politics, or personal life, progress starts with a simple but powerful act: asking why.
Knowledge without action is like a tree without fruit.
Learning is pointless if it never changes the way we live. For Al-Kindi, wisdom was meant to be applied, to heal, to improve, to inspire. It's a reminder that books and theories are only the beginning.
The soul's perfection is knowledge of the truth.
Al-Kindi saw truth as food for the soul. Without it, our inner life withers. With it, we grow, not just in intellect, but in character.
Mathematics is the foundation of all sciences.
For Al-Kindi, mathematics wasn't just a tool, it was the language of creation. He believed that numbers and proportions revealed the hidden order of the universe, from the movement of the planets to the structure of music and light. Every science, he argued, depends on mathematical reasoning, because only through measurement and logic can we truly understand reality. His insistence on mathematical precision laid the groundwork for later breakthroughs in astronomy, physics, and engineering. In a world still guided largely by philosophy and theology, Al-Kindi boldly declared that truth could be quantified, that even beauty, harmony, and time itself had numerical foundations.
Music is a mathematical science that affects the soul.
Al-Kindi viewed music as far more than entertainment. It was a bridge between emotion and intellect. He believed that every note, rhythm, and interval followed mathematical laws, and that these patterns resonated directly with the human soul. He studied how sound frequencies and ratios could influence mood and even physical health, becoming one of the first thinkers to explore the therapeutic power of music. To him, music was a form of medicine, a science that balanced the soul's internal harmony, just as mathematics described the harmony of the cosmos. Through music, Al-Kindi showed that reason and emotion were not opposites, but partners in the search for truth.
Light travels in straight lines and is reflected at equal angles.
Centuries before the birth of modern physics, Al-Kindi analyzed the behavior of light. He observed how light rays move in straight paths and reflect symmetrically, a principle that would later shape the science of optics. He was fascinated by how vision worked, how the eye and light interacted, and he rejected older mystical explanations, replacing them with geometry and observation. Al-Kindi's insights became the intellectual foundation upon which later scientists like Ibn al-Haytham and, much later, Western physicists built their theories. He transformed light from a mystery of faith into a measurable phenomenon, a bold shift toward the scientific method itself.
Cryptography is the art of writing us in secrets.
Long before the age of computers or modern intelligence agencies, Al-Kindi pioneered the study of coded writing. In his treatise on deciphering encrypted messages, he introduced what is now known as frequency analysis, the method of studying how often letters appear in a text to break secret codes. This made him the world's first known cryptanalyst, centuries ahead of his time. His work showed that even language followed predictable mathematical patterns, and that secrecy could be unraveled through logic and statistics. In a sense, Al-Kindi was not only the first codebreaker, but also a forefather of data analysis and cybersecurity, revealing once again how deeply mathematics connected every aspect of knowledge from music and light to words themselves. But behind all this brilliance, there's a story few people know. The story of how one of history's greatest minds was forgotten by the very world he helped enlighten. Al-Kindi lived in the heart of Baghdad's Golden Age, a city alive with knowledge. He worked at the legendary House of Wisdom, translating Aristotle and Plato into Arabic, writing about mathematics, music, optics, and philosophy. He was respected, admired, even called the philosopher of the Arabs. But as the years passed, politics changed. New rulers came, and not all of them valued philosophy. The Caliph al-Mutawakkil turned against the intellectual movement Al-Kindi represented. Philosophy was seen as dangerous, too Greek, too independent, too challenging to tradition. Al-Kindi's books were taken. His library, his life's work, was confiscated. Some say he was even beaten in public. He lost his position, his prestige, and slowly faded from court life. Yet he never stopped thinking. Even when stripped of power and recognition, he continued to write, to teach, and to dream of a world guided by reason and virtue. He died around the year 870, quietly, without wealth, without fame, but with his mind still burning with light. And maybe that's the real legacy of Al-Kindi. Not the titles, not the patronage, not the libraries, but the courage to think freely, even when the world turns its back on you. Over 1,000 years later, we still struggle with the same question he faced. Do we cherish knowledge for its own sake, or do we let fear and power silence it? Perhaps remembering Al-Kindi isn't just about honoring the past, it's about protecting the spirit of wisdom itself. So, which of Al-Kindi's teachings speaks to you most today? Let me know in the comments below. And if you'd like to discover more minds from the Golden Age, Ibn Rushd, Avicenna, Al-Farabi, subscribe and join me on this journey through time and thought. Because the past is not dead, it's alive in every question we still dare to ask.